Her name is Erin, and she talks.
We face a pretty large problem in our near future. A lot of us can see it. Those of you that stay with this channel, you can see it. You can feel it in the air. There's a lot of things happening that we can't control. And that's upsetting to a lot of us. So a lot of us, we put things away, we prep, we build up ammunition, we buy guns, accessories. We train, we form groups, we form militias, we organize. Some of us, including myself, we don't really know what's going to happen. Our future is uncertain. And that's by design. Nothing in this life is ever for sure. Nothing in this life is ever certain. And there's so few of us that can see what's happening. There's so few of us that recognize a problem when it's presented. There's so few of us that hoard ammunition. There's so few of us that train. There's so few of us that care. So many have died to bring us to where we are today. So many have died to protect the freedoms that we have. Freedoms that are slowly disappearing. And it's hard to watch. It's hard for me to look at this life and this world and this society and just put up with it. It's like being born into a cage, and for some reason you recognize it's a cage but no one else does. We go through the motions, we go to work 40 hours a week. We go to jobs that we hate to buy shit we don't need. For what? We're always trying to complete ourselves with something we don't have. Looking in catalogs, watching celebrities on TV, being taught what's right, what's attractive and what isn't. How we're supposed to raise our kids, what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do, just because it's written on paper. Just because we see an example on television, we decide to follow it. A lot of people lack the critical thinking nowadays to stand back and question. Is that car something I need? Why am I buying these things? Why am I going to these specialty stores? Why am I going to the mall? Why am I trying to complete myself? Something's missing. We can all see that. We can all feel that something is missing. So we go about our lives. We're slaves to jobs. We're slaves to our government. We're slaves to our state. We're slaves to each other. They present problems in the media, then we frolic. We frolic and advocate for government to control it, for the state to step in and make itself larger, to regulate us as if we're some sort of animal, as if we're cattle. We line up one by one to receive vaccines, consume GMOs, substances that are illegal in most countries across the planet, but for some reason, they're perfectly fine and acceptable here. Cancers and diseases that didn't exist on the scale that they do today. Nobody seems to question, nobody seems to care. And there's a large portion of the community out there that we need to convert. Because we can't move forward without them. Even though you have a group, even though you're training, even though you're fighting, whether online, whether in real life, organizing, talking, everybody's contributing in some way, but we cannot move forward without the rest. The sedated consumer. It's a breed of people that accepts what is happening. They don't care, they don't pretend to, they're blind. They go out and they purchase things and they pay their bills and they just accept life for what it is. This is not the way life was meant to be lived. We know that. There is something missing. They can feel it. There is good in them. We need to bring it out. Because if we move forward without them, they will fight to defend what they have. Those Cadillacs in their driveway, those fancy shoes, leather jackets, material possessions. Those possessions own them. They don't own anything that they buy. This life, this world, this society owns them, and it's not letting go. We need to convert them one by one. We need to open their eyes to what's happening. We need to show them the world that has been hidden from them since birth. Each of us, somehow, some way, has recognized what is happening. We have all converted in our own way, whether through natural disaster, something that woke us up, whether through the state and what the state's doing, that woke us up. Something woke you up. And I think everything happens for a reason. There's a small portion of the people in this country and in this world across the planet that see what is happening. They see the things that our government's doing. They see the things that their government is doing. And it is our job to bring more people to our side. The state is preparing for something, and they are not going to stop. People are dying every day. There are people across the world that are dying. Women, children, mothers and fathers. Their blood is being spilt by our government and those governments that our state controls. European powers, any government that you watch today on television, with exception to the East, they're influenced by the West. We control everything. There are no legitimate elections anymore. They have stacked the cards against us. Alright? We know that this fight cannot be won in the voting booth. It cannot be won by simple words, but I'm just asking you, give it more time. The war has not started, and we need to exhaust every possible avenue. Everything. We cannot give up. I will not give up on them. We are converting them one at a time. And if everybody does that, this movement will grow far larger than it already is. Movements across the United States will grow far larger. Militias will continue to grow as they are growing now. The state is moving slow because they cannot turn on us yet. The populace, they haven't been indoctrinated to the point of occupation. There is still hope. If there wasn't hope, we'd be occupied right now. We wouldn't have our guns. We'd be in prison. If there wasn't hope, all of us would be dead. I would be gone, but I'm still here. We are still here, and there is still hope. We are building the foundation for an effective resistance. Do not compromise it. Each of you is important. You have no idea how important you are in this fight. We are fighting with you. And whether you convert one person at a time, each conversion is a victory that will last in their hearts forever. They will never get that person back. Once you wake up and you recognize the bars and the chains around your ankles, you will never see them as anything else. We are living in a lie. We cannot delude ourselves with quick fixes. Violence is never the quickest fix, and it never will be. It is the longest and most painful road any of us will ever follow. You talk to anybody that has seen war, and they will tell you the same thing. You need to act according to your faith. You need to act with a foundation and some sort of principle, some love and respect for life, something. Something needs to ground you. Because if you're not grounded in faith, if you're not grounded with some sort of moral code, you will fall into violence with everybody else. It is not the time. It is not the time. We can win this fight. We are fighting with you. We need you to stand with us. This is the Firestorm movement. And that movement is and always will be you. Your actions decide the fate of this country. We cannot do it ourselves.